Hello oGT Triumph, I hope you're doing good. Today we're making this video about what we call SOPs. So many of you were wondering what is an SOP, why are people using this new word SOP. So SOP is simply standard operating procedure, and if you can't remember this complicated name you can call it just process. So today it's about the process of oGT. We will go through all the customer flow duplicated on oGT specifically. But before that, let's see what is SOP. So SOP in general, in the word, means a standard operation procedure, which is a set of step-by-step instructions compiled by an organization to help its members carry out complex routine operations, and it also aims to achieve efficiency, quality output, and uniformity of performance while reducing miscommunication and failure to comply with industrial regulations. All the well-established companies rely on standard operating procedures to help ensure consistency and quality in their products. So, what is SOP and ISEC? In our organization, SOPs aim to define the step-by-step activities that should be carried out in our operations in all the LCs uniformly while delivering our customer flow and exchange standards. But why do we need SOPs? SOPs allow us to understand the product cycle of outgoing global talent. It ensures that every single member TLVP operates in a streamlined manner across all ISEC in Morocco to establish a single brand as ISEC in Morocco's oGT and transmit the same message. SOPs serve also to the first step towards educating any member in oGT and making it a continuous learning experience and referring this document throughout the experience. SOP document also is to make the understanding of our operations simple, to the point, and easily referable by any member in the organization, meaning that throughout the whole customer flow إلا كنتي في any step of the process with your EP تلفتي في شي step ما عرفتي شنو دير عرفتي واحد step ما عرفتي شنو دير فيها exactement, you refer to this document. Now let's go through the SOP. So as a start we're gonna begin by the attraction phase. So here is the first contact with the EP. It should happen as a cold call, and what we do in this mandatory step is we give generalized information about ISEC and oGT, and then we schedule a meeting, physical meeting, or info session, or speed up event. And in case it's a call, we should keep the phone call very short and don't give بزاف ديال information باش ما يتبومبارداش في الاول وتتفاصل ما غاديش يقرا هذوك الانفورميشن من الاول. And this should happen by 24 hours after registration on isec.org. Then you send واحد follow-up email اللي كتكون مصايب واحد framework ديالو في ال LC or the department, and this email should include product information, if there is a poster about oGT or something like that, or a brochure, then EP experience story, any stories from your realized or finished EPs, then the schedule of the meeting, if it's individual, or the info session if it's a group meeting, or the speed up, and then you ask for the CV to be sent before the meeting in order for you to have the chance to actually correct it. Then if this person still didn't sign up on Expo, you ask them to. So here you check the CV of the EP before the info session, the meeting, or the speed up, as I said. And let's not go through details here because we just had last week the CV enhancement framework that I will still put its link in this post. So after that, here is the info session. So this is where the sales happen. This is where the sales start. So in the info session, try to listen like 60% and talk 40%, and it's called the spin selling methodology. It allows you to know who is your customer, so you can know how to customize the message for him. So this meeting or info session should have content about ISEC and product's value, proposition, then why people should go on GT. Here you talk about the benefits of the product, but it's better to start by questions to know why are they curious to know about GT or to go on GT. Then why is the product relevant for them, and here you talk about the benefits of the products from the value proposition. Then you give information about sub-products, about the opportunities in general, the durations, the countries that we work with and why. then the type of opportunities, as I said, and after that you open frequently asked questions space. This meeting or info session should happen within 3 days of the phone call. If not an info session, then it's a meeting and you try to deliver the same content. And this one is mandatory. As I said, if there are many people, you do an info session based on the number of applicants, of course. After that, you set expectations with the EP, and this step is also mandatory, and either it happens during the meeting or the info session. The expectation setting should be done during the meeting itself, as I said, and it's about finances. What is the contract fees, like the 1500 dirham? What is the visa insurance? That like you acknowledge him that these things like visa insurance and flight tickets and first month's expenses are on him. And what is the expected salary that must be sufficient according to the living standards? You talk to him about accommodation of those opportunities, the process information, the timeline of the process, and the services provided. That are the standards. You will tell me accommodation, process information, and timeline of the process differ from an opportunity to another. That's why during this info session or this meeting, you should only sell opportunities from your partners, because you are already aligned on the process, the timeline, and also the logistics when it comes to accommodation, pickup, and so on. After that, you assist the EP to refine his CV, and here I put the link to oGT CV enhancement. So you explain to him and you guide him and you give him even sample of CVs. After that, you check his expo profile. Does it match the CV details that he sent you? Does his profile on expo actually reflect his CV? Because there is, minimum requirements in each opportunity that if the EP doesn't have, the platform doesn't allow him to apply to the opportunity. After that, you send a follow-up email for setting expectations with the EP. It's like an output from the meeting, and you send him also the necessary information about the CV and opportunities, and this should happen within 24 hours from the meeting or the info session. Here, as I told you, you summarize the meeting, like you give an output, and you send also the expectations set, the sub-products finalized with him that he chose or that matches his profile, the countries narrowed or shortlisted, the CV guide, and list of opportunities to apply to. And of course, you send the contract, which is the statement of understanding, as a reference. So كي يكون عارفوا من الأول باللي it exists، ماشي حتى كنجيو يتأكسبت الإي بي وكنبغي يتأبروف عاد كنبقاو نتسناو بزاف. So you send him the contract during the setting expectations phase. So the CV has been updated, the EP starts applying, and he becomes a lead, and here we enter the consideration phase in the customer flow. So if the EP applies, don't stop sending him opportunities. Keep sending him opportunities to have better chances. Almost every 2 days until the EP is already in progress for an opportunity. Donc انت راه كتصيفط له opportunities او ميم طون كتهضر مع الاوبي مانجرز، كتعرف باللي راه في البروسيس مع واحد الكامباني، ما تبقاش تصيفط له ديك الساعات تشوف واش تاكسبتا ولا تريجيكتا. الا تريجيكتا بقى تصيفط له opportunities، الا تاكسبتا راه he's gonna be approved. You send واحد follow up email ولا message to IR for the applications. It depends again on the type of IR. For example, Germany, you send them by email. USA, you send them by email. Turkey, you talk to them on WhatsApp. Like, it depends not only on the country but also on the relation between you and the LC. So you send email to the OP manager in general and the LCVP informing about your EP's applications, and this should happen within 24 hours of EP's applications. Because to be honest, IGT, they don't get to process all the applications on the platform because there are a lot of them. So better send your EP's applications مع السيفي ديالو by email. If the EP is asked to make a video, send واحد video guide or like assist him while making the video. Make sure que vibes qu'il dégage are very positive, especially in teaching. Send him videos from your previous EPs. And one remark that I added here is that China requires the video. It's very important for them to see how the EP pronounces, especially, as I said, in teaching. It's not mandatory, but it's highly recommended, especially for teaching, as I said. and this should happen also within 3 days of the meeting to get all the application package ready. So once you follow up with the IR and so on, you set up the interview for your EP, and you keep constant communication with IR and also the EP to make sure that the interview is being set and completed as well within maximum 7 days of the application, because this is the average day for which IGT closed the applications on Expa. You assist your EP with the interview, you give him advices on how to react, on how to answer questions, and so on, depending on his profile. Then the EP is accepted. Here you set expectations with the IR, and you send the expectation setting to the EP to make an agreement between the two parties. So expectations to be set are confirming the job description, confirming the salary, how it will be received, إمتى غادي ياخدو, واش the EP receives the salary every month, واش there are any taxes, like for example in Turkey when the EPs apply for residence permits there are واحد fees that they pay. هادشي كامل كيخصو يكون set as expectations with IR. You check about accommodation, if it's provided not covered, if it's provided and covered how will it go, فين كاين accommodation مع من غادي يسكن, if there is any contract with the host LC, and of course the contract with the company, and you send these expectations to the EP. If there is a booklet of DLC like the one I shared with you of India, send the LC booklet or the country booklet to the EP. You ask the host for it. حتى هو كيكون in the expectation setting standard. It's normally a standard delivered by host entity, but you as EP manager, it is your duty to make sure that your EP receives this information. Here, the EP is asked to sign the contract and pay the fees, and it's of course a mandatory step. We as oGT in general have to approve the EP and ask the ICX to finish the process. The last click isn't ours, so we should be attentive to track our IR until the approval appears on Expa. So the EP signs the contract, he pays the fees, we approve from our side. After he signs AN and fills LDA, and then the approval happens on Expa within 48 hours from EP acceptance. يعني انت كتعطي واحد الديدلاين ديال 2 جوغ، وهاد لانفورماسيون ديال الديدلاين ديال 2 جوغ كديرها معاه في الاول في setting expectations when you send him the contract. Okay, so once the EP is approved كندخلوا في لا فاز ديال value delivery. So here he becomes a customer. شرا من عندنا لو برودوي اللي هو GT. He paid for it. So the customer is approved, of course. You make sure he receives the invitation letter and the visa information within 2 days from approval. Again, it's a standard that should be delivered from host entity, but you as EP manager, you should make sure to follow up constantly with IR to receive the invitation letter within 2 days of approval. Like, this is the best case scenario. Parfois on comprend بلي كاين some LCs اللي كتعطلو على حساب الجوفرنمون ديالهم, it's out of their hands, but like this is the average period that the EP should receive the ILN. At the same time, you should provide all the necessary information regarding the visa process to the EP, because of course you had experience about it with other EPs, so you should help him with this, and the EP should apply for visa maximum within 1 week after approval. Here, the first standard from home entity should be completed, which is personal goal setting of the EP, and it's a mandatory step, and at least 1 week before realization, if not before. من الأحسن ملي كيتابروفا كدير معاه personal goal setting. So you should facilitate a space for the EPs individually to help them set personal goals for their internship based on their initial LDA, and you communicate this personal goal to the OP manager to make sure from their side that they map the experience of the EP in order to achieve this goal. Second is the preparation, and it's also a standard delivered from home, and here you can find واحد framework of EP preparation. So follow the minimum agenda for the standard OPS if it's for a group, or just like outgoing preparation if it's individually, and you can add any extra things as per the need. For example, if you have extra information about the country, you can add it. If you have extra information about the company, you can add it. So it is mandatory for all the approved EPs to go through an outgoing preparation. Second, expectation setting email with IR, and it's also a mandatory step at least 1 week before realization, if not before. So you send information about the EP's LDA results, the updates about outgoing preparation, comme quoi it was delivered. You confirm with them arrival pickup, accommodation, first day of work, and you confirm with them the IPS dates in order to communicate it to the EP. The development space with the company, even if it doesn't happen always, and you confirm like anything else that was missing from the previous email or from your conversations. من الأحسن أي حاجة هضرشوا فيها عليها في واتساب مع ال OP manager مع the EP, confirm it by email, comme ça كتبقى لا traçabilité. So you confirm visa and documents with the EP, باللي راه خداها, باللي راه عنده copies ديال any document that he will need, and this as soon as the EP gets the visa. هادشي au plus tard 1 week before realization he should be having his visa. So here comes another standard from the home entity, which is insurance. You should make sure that the EP has واحد confirmation ديال insurance, ومن الأحسن يصيفط لك واحد screenshot ديال the document, because it's a standard as I said. Here it's a link that was proposed by the guys in the commission time in NEC. It's an insurance that the students from the university take, and it's I guess cheaper than the banks and so on. So you confirm with the EP that he has bought a valid insurance policy to cover basic medical costs for the duration of the exchange, and collect a copy of the same for the documentation. Here it depends. Some companies tell the EP to take 1 month insurance just for the visa and for the arrival, and after that they take care of his insurance. Or there are companies that don't provide insurance, so he should take an insurance that covers all the stay in that country. After that, of course, you confirm with the EP that he has bought the flight ticket, and collect like copy of any document that he will need for his flight, for entering that country or that territory. And this is also as soon as the EP gets the visa. So you send the travel information to of the EP to oGT department at least 2 days before his travel, flight ticket, when he arrives, and so on. If he has any other information about his flight that is specific, in order to organize, of course, the pickup and confirm it. Here is something optional, but that I would like to start seeing in the commission, which is the EP kits. It's a simple investment, it's a kind gesture for EPs as souvenir before they travel. سواء كتعطيهم شي حاجة صغيرة بحال بورت كلي, ستيكر, براسلي, أي حاجة that they can remember you with. It can be a flag, it can be a personalized note, it can be like a bracelet or a t-shirt, a sticker, anything, and you can be as creative as possible, and it doesn't cost very much. Why? Because this keeps a human connection with the EP, كيخليك قريب منه, and during his experience he starts telling you what really happens, so you keep an eye on your EP, and it keeps واحد friendship between you and your EP, which is very much needed to follow up on the realization. So once the EP is realized, you ensure and confirm with the EP that his pickup has been done properly, and you make sure that any details about arrival and so on are written in email or WhatsApp. مهم you have واحد proof before he leaves, and this should be done on the day he arrives. Of course, you're gonna say again, it's a host entity standard, but still you are his EP manager, and you should be aware of any step that happens to him during the experience. Of course, you check also the first day of work if he has been supported by someone from ISEC and assisted in his work to present him to the staff and so on. You check if the IPS has been conducted, and you ensure that all the information that he should receive were actually delivered to him. When it comes to this standard, which is development spaces with the OP provider, it's true that some opportunities include it in the GD. Still, you should ask about it and see if the GD is actually aligned with the personal goal. here you do واحد bi-weekly communication with the EP مرة في 15 يوم. You check with him if the GD is still the same, if the project he applied to is the one he's working on. You check with him the working hours, the accommodation, the basic living costs and so on. And this من الأحسن المرة الأولى should be sent in an email to check on the EP باش تبقى عندك again واحد البروف واحد التراسابيليتي على هاد لي زانفورماسيون. 1 week before the EP ends his realization, you check if he had any development spaces with the OP provider, and like, did he get what he wanted from the internship, did he achieve his personal goal, and so on. You track the standards for the approval tool, like the one I shared with you guys, which is oGT Morocco based tool, and that should happen weekly, on a weekly basis. And last part of the value delivery phase is ensuring departure supports with your EP, even if again it's a host entity standard, but you should check if the host LC provided all the information about the departure support to the EP, and that 2 weeks before the end of the realization. So when it comes to the last phase of the customer flow, which is brand advocacy, here your EP is finished, so you invite him to a debrief space to help him reflect back on the journey he has been through, including space of checking his personal goals and checking if he actually developed his leadership qualities or not. And it is of course a standard by the home entity, and it should happen within the first week after the EP كيرجع للمغرب. Here you do واحد one-to-one customer interview with him, in which you have an open conversation regarding his experience, about the standards delivery, about the internship on the personal and the professional level. You ask about the host LC feedback باش تراكي حتى الIR ديالك, and like you take feedbacks overall, and this also should happen during the debriefing space. So you ask the EP to fill the NPS survey on the same day. You ask him to take the second LDA, and it's mandatory of course to do the briefing about his leadership development, and of course the complete survey of the standards. So last but not least, to help our marketing team make very good stories for our attraction campaigns, you should make sure to collect stories from your EPs and collect content selon هذيك الفريمورك اللي عند marketing. And why not prepare an EP dinner or an event for your returnees from oGT and use it as an attraction strategy. It's of course optional, but it's still a good investment and a good strategy for attraction, because they are more credible since they have been through that experience you are promoting. So that's it guys for the SOP. And last but not least, here are the exchange standard guidelines that are way more detailed than in the SOP, that you can check them later on to define what are the steps you should do in order to complete each standard على حدة. So I hope you enjoyed this session. If you have any questions, you can comment down below, or you can send me a message in private. Take care.